Hey everyone, this is Joe, and in today's video I'd like to share with you very important information that I think you and anyone you care about really needs to know. And it's about global economic collapse. So before we jump in, I'd like to take the quick opportunity to say thank you very much for everyone who checked out my video. I'm guilty, and this is my confession. I'll put a link to it below. If you haven't checked it out, please do. And I got some really great constructive feedback. So thank you so much to everyone. And I'm taking that constructive feedback and putting it in this video and all the rest. So when I say the word economic collapse, the word collapse can give a connotation of, you know, going to bed one night and everything's fine, and then waking up the next morning and there's just panic in the streets. You know, there's riots, there's buildings falling down, there's like zombies and lightning, and the power's off, there's no food, it's like Mad Max everywhere, right? So maybe collapse isn't the best word for it, because it doesn't just happen overnight, but it does happen. So maybe the best phrase for it is a large economic downturn. I firmly believe, based on the research that I've done, that we are in for a large economic downturn in the not too distant future. I think anyone who gives you an exact time frame, oh, it's going to happen on March the 18th in 2019, that's ridiculous. I mean, you can never give an exact time frame, and anyone who does, I think, is either deluding themselves or they're trying to sell you something. So be wary of those people. But what I think I can confidently tell you is that we will be experiencing, all around the world, a large economic downturn within the next 4 to 5 years. I think by the end of 2020, we will have experienced that, the big brunt of it. Now, it won't be equally as bad everywhere, all at the one time. There may be countries who fare better than other countries, but I do think we will all be experiencing it, you know, on a global scale. Now, economic downturns have certainly happened in history before. There's been, geez, hundreds and hundreds of examples of booms and busts, you know, times of great economic prosperity and then times of the opposite. Right, so I guess the more recent ones that you are probably aware of would be the Great Depression of the 1930s, and more recently the 2008 global financial crisis. I think we're in for another one, and I think we're in for one that is going to be equal to, possibly even greater than, the Depression of the 1930s. Okay, so that's why I'm here to share with you information that I used to come to my own conclusion. Because, you know, my job isn't to hold your hand throughout the process and personally make, you know, hours and hours worth of video presentations about why it's going to happen, how it's going to happen, etc. Because there are much smarter people than me that have already done it. And I utilized their resources, so I'm going to share them with you. But before I do, I have learned a few things over my research, so let's go into it really, really quickly. So the first factor is debt. Now, debt unto itself isn't necessarily a bad thing. I mean, let's just say there's a job you want to go for, and for whatever reason you must have a car in order to get that job. You don't have a car, you can't get the money right away for the car, so what do? You go out and get a car loan, get the car, get the job, start paying the car off over time. Win-win situation. So debt in that circumstance is fine. But the kind of debt I'm talking about is that nasty credit card debt. It's like someone who goes out, gets a credit card with a $50,000 limit, and they just rack up the debt, just keep buying stuff and don't pay it off. They just rack up that $50,000 debt. Now, what do when it comes time to pay for the debt? Do they work hard and save money and pay it off slowly? No. They go out and get another credit card and pay off the first credit card with that credit card. They're constantly increasing their debt over time. And that's the first factor, which I think is going to lead to a large economic downturn in the not too distant future. The ability of countries to put themselves in more and more debt over time, just like that nasty credit card kind of debt. Factor number 2 is money printing. And that's the ability of governments to print as much money as they like. It used to be that governments were limited in the amount of money that they could print because it had to be backed by something tangible. But now we live in what is called a fiat currency system or a fiat monetary system. And the problem with this is that this unlimited money printing smacks right into factor number 3, which is exponential growth. Now, I won't go too much into exponential growth. It takes a smarter person than me to be able to explain it in a way that everybody would understand. Okay, but you've got debt, unlimited money printing, and exponential growth, which I believe are the 3 main factors that will lead us to a large economic downturn in the not too distant future, I think by the end of 2020. Now, I don't want you to take my word for it, okay? I'm just some guy on the internet. But that's why I want to share with you the top 3 resources that I used to come to this conclusion. And I think after you watch this information yourself, I think you'll come to the same. Now, obviously, I think you should watch every piece of information that I'm going to share with you, but I'm going to give you 3 choices: easy, medium, and hard. Just like the levels on a video game, you get to choose, do you want to do the easy level, the medium level, or the hard level, sometimes the insane level, but we won't go that far. So, easy level. This series is a 5-part documentary series called The Hidden Secrets of Money, and it's by a gentleman named Mike Maloney. I think this is perfect for the beginner. It's very entertaining. It's the information is given to you in a very easy to understand manner. It doesn't hold your hand all the way, but it's very easy for most people to understand, and it's very entertaining. Mike travels all around the world talking about what is money, what is banking, how is money created, and why unlimited money printing is a bad thing for all of us in the long term. So I'll put the link below. The Hidden Secrets of Money. It's a 5-part series. Each episode is around about half an hour, so it won't take up too much of your time. Now, the medium level is for those who went through the easy level, which I suggest everyone does at the start, and then who are intrigued and want to know more. The medium level is a series called The Crash Course, and it's by a gentleman named Chris Martenson. It goes into more detail about money printing, about debt, goes through the 3 E's, which is energy, the economy, and the environment. And more specifically, it goes into that exponential growth, that factor 3 that I was talking about. All right, onto the hard level. Now, this is for those who have gone through the easy and the medium and want to know even more, or it's for those people who I know exist out there who just want to dive straight in, and you want to go down the rabbit hole and come back up again in one go. This is 48 hours worth of video presentation. It doesn't just go through the economy. All I can say, I can't say anything else other than it goes through everything, okay? And it's called the Sons of Liberty Academy. It's by a gentleman named Chris Duane. I highly, highly recommend this as well. Now, all 3 of these levels talk about, of course, the economy, the large economic downturn that's coming, and more importantly, it talks about what you can do to prepare for that. There's no point explaining a problem to you ad infinitum, just constantly just explaining the problem and never giving you a solution. And the great thing about these 3 resources from Mike Maloney, Chris Martenson, and Chris Duane is that not only do they talk about the problem, but then they talk about what the solutions are. Now, I don't want to be all alarmist and say that is 100%, going to be Mad Max style mayhem, okay? Because I just don't know. But what I do know based on my research is that we will be going through a large economic downturn. How bad it gets here in Australia, I don't know. It's not, as I said before, it's not going to be equally as bad everywhere all at the one time. But that doesn't matter, because I do understand that it is coming. And I treat this like an insurance policy. I treat preparing for this like an insurance policy. Yep. Because, you get car insurance, hoping that you'll never have a car accident, but it's there just in case. You get health insurance, hoping you'll never get sick, but it's there just in case. And so what I've done to prepare for this large economic downturn is just another form of insurance. I think this is very important information that you need to know. And I think once you come to the realization that it is coming, this large economic downturn, I think you'll want to share this with everyone else that you know. In my next video, I'm going to share with you information that I think is almost equally as important as today's topic. Now, I'll give you the teaser trailer. It's about sexual strategy. I'll leave it at that. So thanks so much for watching. Please like, please share, and comment. I'd love to know your thoughts. Thanks very much, guys. See you next time.